Good morning. Good morning, good morning. It's Pause with Elizabeth Elenor, and it's Monday. It's Monday. I've had a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I had all this work to do, and I didn't do it. I decided that I was going to have the weekend off. So I'd love you to tell me how your weekend went and what you did. I want to welcome anyone else that's new into the group, all the beautiful women, because we've got quite a few new people. So if this is your first time watching Pause, then welcome. And this is a really safe container here in Women of Light. We do use these videos and record them and put them on our YouTube channel and in our Facebook business page. However, in this group it's a private group, and it's a really sacred, beautiful place. A lot of women use this place to engage with other, women of light, connected women that are making a change in the world. So if that is you, welcome, and really looking forward to getting to know you, because I do wish to get to know all the women that are in this group. So today I wanted to talk about your emotional scale. And sometimes we find ourselves in a place of depression or despair, anxiety, anger, feeling blame or worry, shame in some way. And it was really interesting to me the other day. I was speaking to a woman that was had been working in corporate for a very long period of time, and she was saying that she was so over the gaslighting and the competition and crawling over people to get to a certain place in, promotions and all of that sort of stuff. And because it's not my world, I was really shocked. I was in that place where I didn't realize that sort of stuff was still going on in the world. My world is quite a beautiful, co-creative, harmonious place. And so if you find yourself in a place where you're struggling to be authentic or to be able to stand in your own integrity, and you have all these emotions come up, then I wanted to just share with you, because a lot of people think they can jump from being angry straight into being happy, or and they actually beat themselves up. Women beat ourselves up a lot for various different things. And we've got this whole identity of being perfect. We've got to be perfect. And I've got to tell you, society does not support us to let go of that particular sabotage belief at all. Even now, there's still a lot of media out there that's portraying women as being amazingly gorgeous all the time, and the right figure, and all those, like wearing the right clothes and doing the right things and blah blah blah. And sometimes we're a mess. Sometimes we don't want to be that stuff, right? We want to just be able to explore ourselves in all facets and all different possibilities, and be able to step into our sovereignty. I mean, I think that's being sovereign in its own uniqueness. When you can really own being imperfect and just being authentically you. Like one of my personality traits is that I'm spontaneous. I love creating. I can be very unstructured in my own way. And yet part of me is very structured. I like patterns. I like behaviors, or like knowing what's happening. And I like a clean house, but sometimes it's messy. Put in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, if that sounds like you, or if you're a very structured, you know, depends on your personality, right? Some people are really structured and need that structure to feel sane and to feel comfortable in their body and safe in their body. And others, you know, don't need that. And so it depends on who you are as a person, who you are as an individual. And so I wanted to talk about the emotional scale for anyone that's watching, and you know, I'd love to know who has ever got into law of attraction and Abraham Hicks stuff, because they were right into, for those that don't know, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks is a woman that channels a group of beings called Abraham. They call themselves Abraham. And they basically have spent years and years and years discussing the law of attraction with human beings, right? So she comes down and she goes on stage. I've had the pleasure of being able to see her live at Town Hall not long after I moved to Sydney. And basically they're saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, but they say it in different ways because, you know, whoever they're talking to, you know, has got whatever problem that they're having. And so Esther Hicks channels this group of beings called Abraham. They've got their own unique type of language as well. They talk about the vibrational escrow. So when you ask for something, energetically, as soon as you put out something that you're choosing or you would like to choose, it's created in what they call the escrow, right? So they've got this vibrational match to whatever you're creating. Now, I would call that your superconscious. I would call that your, you know, that divine wisdom, that intuitive nature, all of that part of you, which is still a part of you, it's not separate from you, has whatever you have decided that you would like in that field. It's there, it's created because you've thrown it there. You've you know, in you know, 25 years, for those that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I've been an energy healer for coming up to 25 years. I think it's next year is 25 years. I've got to work that out. I'm pretty sure it is. And I've watched the spiritual development industry, because it is an industry, right, just like any other. I've watched it evolve within its own container, and what I have learnt and what I have understood as I've developed more and more of myself and understood more and more of myself and worked out what this is all about, being human and, you know, having a physical experience. One of the things that I have worked out is that everything is energy, and energy vibrates at different frequencies. And in my opinion, that's actually the simplest version and the most complex version that you actually ever need. You don't need to go any further with anything else, because if you look at it, you can actually discover everything that's happening in our world from just those two thoughts. And so, or understandings or premises. I don't even think it's a premise. I think it's actually truth. Everyone, you know, but anyway, I digress. And so everything is energy, and energy vibrates at different frequencies. And from my own understanding, from what I've become aware of, is that thought is one of the purest forms of vibration, because it's like it projects out. As soon as you have a thought, you're projecting it out, in my understanding from what I've experienced. And so you have this thought, and the more you have the same thought, it's like it clumps together, right? For want of a better way of putting it. But just as a simple version, if you have the same thought over and over again, it clumps together and gets heavier and heavier. This vibrational energy gets heavier and heavier in weight. And this is my analogy of it anyway. And then as that weight gets heavier, it then becomes physical. It comes down into the physical. That thought becomes a thing. And so if you are constantly in the background going, I'm not good enough, 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 all the way, like throughout your whole life, then you're going to experience that in the physical of not being good enough. What happens is, because energy is vibrational, as those, you know, like you're saying that, you're actually attracting that, because there's a law of attraction, right? It's a universal law. It's a way, you know, a carrot seed and a strawberry seed planted in the same garden, the carrot seed will attract everything it needs to be a carrot, and the strawberry will attract everything it needs to be a strawberry. A strawberry seed does not turn into a carrot, right? There are laws that are governed through the process, and so when you're attracting over and over again that I'm not good enough, you will start seeing evidence of that in your world. You will start bringing scenarios to you so that your subconscious can confirm that it's correct. Yes, this is true, I'm not good enough. Look what just happened there. Look what just happened there. I'm not good enough. And it's survivable, right? So the subconscious is totally okay with it, because it means that it's still alive. It identifies with not being good enough, and so therefore when it sees things in its world, it just is a confirmation that it's still alive and it's still survivable, and yes, this is true, right? And so through that process, the emotions can come up of feeling, you know, worthless or guilty or insecure, right? Now those emotions are quite low vibrations. They're really a low frequency. They've got a very heavy energy to them. So they're very heavy in the body. They feel, you know, you get that in your heart, you get that in your solar plexus, and therefore you get that in your throat chakra, because when you get that in your throat chakra, you can't express that out to anyone. You close up, you become restricted. And so you know, to go from that low vibration all the way up to, you know, love and elation and optimism and hopefulness is a really far-fetched place. So is what Esther and or Abraham is saying is that, and I found this to be true, that when you're at such a low vibration, for you to actually start getting to those higher places, you've got to incrementally find yourself in a better place and start rectifying that by starting to actually explain to yourself and to your subconscious, hey, yes, that happened, but I am getting better. I'm seeing these things. I'm aware of it now. Okay, so I've got the choice. I can make the decision to change this, right? And that gives you a little bit more hope. That gives you a little bit more encouragement that you actually are the creator of your reality. And so you can move up the scale of the emotional scale, as they say, by shifting some of your thought patterns that, well, wait a minute, you know, at one stage I was a little baby that was completely innocent, and I'm sure that I was good enough then, right? You know, all babies born together in the same nursing home. My mum's in a nursing home at the moment. We're dealing with a lot of stuff. So in a nursing unit, right? In a baby's in a birthing unit, you can't look at all of those babies and go, oh, that one over there is not good enough, or that one's not worthy, or that one's insignificant. That's not a reality. All babies are born with this pure potential and pure innocence, and you were one of them. You were one of them. And so at one stage you had all of this potential, and unfortunately, and you still have all this potential, but what happened was society, family, traits, potentially past lives, generational history, all started clumping on top of you, all these vibrations of being separate from your potential, being separate from that divine source and spark of who you are. And you start, long enough, it keeps beating the same drum, right? All those things gets piled on top of you over and over again. You're only little, so your brainwave frequency is not at the stage of rationalizing whether this is right or wrong. It's a sponge. And so this energy is being accumulated over and over and over again, and it's like this big weight. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but over a period of time, you start identifying with this being that's got this body, and you think that you're separate, and you think that you're not good enough, or you're not worthy, or whatever it might be. There's rolling around in the background, and there's all these different parts of you that start agreeing with that as well. And so when you do get to that age, and it really doesn't develop until mid-20s, to tell you the truth, when you can really start, we do have a rational brain come in, somewhere, I think between the ages of 7 and 9 is the rational brainwave frequencies start to come in, and you can start, get in like, wait a minute, is that right? Is that wrong for me? And start thinking about what feels right. But it's not until you're, in your really getting into your 20s that it actually really starts cementing in. And that's when you'll see that, talk to a 20-year-old, they know everything, right? And so it's very, very interesting that all of these things get locked into our subconscious. And, our conscious is actually quite lazy, because our subconscious is working something like 95% of the time. Our subconscious is in control of what we're doing. And our conscious, that makes all the free will and the choices, and makes the assessment of what it is it chooses and what it wants in life, actually is only working, not even part-time, is only working a little bit at the time. And so it's actually quite lazy. It actually will let the subconscious, that has all this old information, all of this stuff from previous history, from its conditioned patterns when it was a child, all of this stuff is rolling around in the background in your head and taking over. And so you've got these dreams and aspirations, and you've put all this stuff into your escrow, as Abraham Hicks would say. You've got, I want to have a better job, I want to start a business, I want the love of my life, I want to be healthy, trim and fit, I want to be flexible, I want to live out in the savannah of Africa, whatever it might be. All of these things, and society and your subconscious will tell you they're just dreams. They're not something that you can really have. No one really gets what they want. Who's ever heard that? Who has ever heard no one really ever gets what they want? I remember when I moved to Cairns and I was living up there as a single mum, and I was doing it hard. The father of my kids was in a challenging situation of his own. We were young, we were both young, And anyway, he wasn't showing up the way I wanted him to show up at that time in our lives. And my brother had come up to visit, and he was staying at a hotel in Cairns, and we were in this beautiful pool out the back of this hotel, and right on the water, and it was a beautiful, you know, tropical day, and I get a phone call to say that, you know, my ex was not going to be able to show up for the kids, and I really needed some time out, and I started crying, you know. It was hard, and started crying, and I remember my brother saying to me, "That's it, Elizabeth, you got to pack up and come back to Sydney. We can't look after you down here, up here. You've got to come back up here. Come back down to Sydney." And I just sort of looked up at him, and he said, "People don't live up here. They go on holiday. This is a holiday place. You can't stay where people go on holidays." And I just remember looking at him and going, "Why not? Why can't I?" And it was not part of that. Was actually part of my innocence. I didn't realize that was a truth that a lot of people, you know, this was a belief of others, or belief of the world. You cannot have what you want. You cannot, you know, you can't live in a holiday destination, right? It's not possible. And I thought that was really interesting, because it was like outside of my scope at the time. I spent 16 years living up in that beautiful tropical area. And it's very, very interesting, the thoughts that play out of others that can get us caught up, right? And can bottom us out. So we're down here in this emotional, you know, feeling sad or guilty or shameful about something that we've done in the past, not being able to forgive ourselves. Then we can move from those really low frequencies where it's all internal, right? And it's all, you know, self-hate sort of energy, which is so not good for your cells, right? All of that sort of energy is the energy that will destroy your cells and cause dis-ease in the body, right? All of that sort of energy. So that's why I teach women the process of breathing out through your tailbone, you know, just breathing that energy out. If it's not yours, just let it all out of your body. It's a very, very simple and very powerful technique. And so then when we can move into feeling, you know, out of that self-loathing and going up what they call the emotional scale, and going past that into getting angry at yourself potentially for feeling this way, or for taking on somebody else's stuff or beliefs, angry at somebody else, you know, like letting that energy out. So now it's this pushing out energy. It's not internal anymore. It's actually pushing it out and expressing it out. Now you can actually get your throat chakra shifted, right, and being able to clear some of that vibration out of the throat chakra. And yes, it's not a good place to be, but it's way better than depression and shame and guilt and all of that internal self-loathing. So at least you've shifted, and at least you've moved into that next level, and you know, you're going up the vibrational scale, the emotional scale. And so when you can get past that and go into you know, maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the emotions, and again being able to process through your body those sort of emotions, is, you know, breathing and all of those things, you can actually start moving into just forgiveness and contentment, being able to process at that, you know, hopefulness, being able to move into those higher vibrational emotions, and being able to move into positive beliefs and positive expectations, and then into moving into what your passion is. But to be able to move from guilt and shame into passion is such a huge jump. And from a spiritual personal development perspective, I know that some of the beliefs in this realm can be just as dysfunctional as any other, worldview, and can be just as damaging. And I know that one of those is that if you're spiritual, if you are someone that's of the light, then feeling angry and pissed off about something is not appropriate, because we're supposed to be, kumbaya, we're supposed to be all, love and harmony and green beans and all that sort of stuff, right? We're supposed to be in this blissful state all the time, and it's actually bullshit. I'm gonna just share with you, it's so not true, because those people that are playing that game are just as suppressed as somebody that's in guilt and shame, because they're not actually expressing in their throat chakra either, and they're downside. We all have these emotions. We are not perfect. And so we have these emotions, and we need to clear them out of our body so that we can actually be able to process them and then move up into those higher aspects of ourselves and find that joy and certainty and empowerment and freedom and love and compassion and all of those beautiful things. That's our true essence. All the rest of it is vibrational lowering into our individual self, where we shrink into this body that we think is all that we are, and those other emotions of joy and love and freedom and empowerment are so more expansive. And there's this element of connection and unity and flow, energy flow. This is where your intuitive nature comes in. You can actually understand and feel other people and intuitively know how to dance energetically with that person that's in front of you, right? And so when you're in that blissful state, that's real, being of the light, and it's friggin' fun. It's beautiful being in that state. So I want to ask you, do you have some emotions around something, a charge, something that triggers you, that you have suppressed for a very long time, and you do your best not to think about it? I know that was one of my... I've been on a healing journey with my mum for pretty much all my life, and one of the things with my mum is I was constantly, not constantly, but whenever it came up, I would do my best to support her in healing her relationship with her parents. And it was the hardest one of all the stuff that I've been through with my mum to support, and she still hasn't found forgiveness in her heart for her what she sees as dysfunctional relationship with her parents. And she used to say, "Oh, I forgive them. I don't even think about them anymore." Right? But with this full-on malice in her body, in her very being. And I'm like, that's not really forgiveness, Mum. That's really not forgiveness. And so is that something I just want to leave you with some reflecting, an opportunity to pause on a Monday and reflect for the week. What is it that you've been suppressing within yourself? Maybe not allowing to come out. Maybe I know some people that they're too scared to let it come out because they think it won't stop. The pain, the tears, the sadness, and it does stop. It does stop. When you are in a place where you can let go and surrender and just allow your body to process it and feel it, and you've got the tools to support you, right? This is where a beautiful, you know, having someone to mentor you is a beautiful way to process this sort of stuff. When you can clear that sort of stuff, vibrations out of your body, and I personally, you know, when I also believe that you can do a cleanse of some sort and clear it out of your cells to, you know, increase the the effectiveness and the efficiency of the process, because then you're clearing it physically as well as through the etheric and the emotional body. Then you're well on the way to starting to live the life that you love and to really connect in with what it is you truly came here to do. What is your true nature, and what is your purpose, and what is it that you're here to do? And I'm telling you, it's not to hold on to that baggage. It's not to hold on to, you know, generational narratives that are keeping you stuck. That's not your job. It's not. We are here in this time and space to make a difference in our family lineage. And all of us are here to wake up to who we truly are, and we're not broken. We are actually divine, amazing, super conscious beings that are here to create heaven on earth. And I would love for you to join me in that quest and that mission to wake more and more women up to who they truly are, and to really connect into their intuition so that we can make a change in the world. So that's me. I hope you got some value out of that. I'd love for you to add in the notes, in the comments, what landed, because it really is supportive for other women to see, and it may be something that they're not ready to open up to yet themselves, and they see it there in the comments, and it's enough for them to go, yeah, that was me too, and it sort of drops in. So this is a co-creative process, and would love for you to share your wisdom as well and what you gained from today's session. And I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful week, and I will see you soon.